It was a weekend that went everywhere, and after we saw some rain-affected racing at Donington in the past, the Donington Grand Prix weekend saw it not really affect the running of the weekend, but it definitely had an impact on the running of the races. Let's talk about it. Because the rain was very much a deciding factor. You have a look at qualifying, you see that in Q1 the drivers were doing 33 7s and 8s, and then in Q2 it was the 42s, in Q3 it was the 43s. Yeah, the weather rolled in and then rolled out, rolled in again, rolled out again. The most iconic one for the weekend was arguably in race 2, where on lap 14 of 17, suddenly going into McLean's, half the field goes off. It looks like they're doing Donington Park Rallycross. I mean, it was a WRC stage back in the era of Group B. But the NGTCs aren't, an Audi Quattro or a Metro 6R4. And it did have some kind of an impact, because even if it remains dry, having water present on the track means that it's harder to get tyres rubbered up, harder to get them up to temperature. And that means that in some cases, the strategy of being on the mediums or the hards can have a bigger impact. In some cases here, though, it did just completely negate it. Either way, though, this was a big weekend for the championship, and if you can figure that out, you can have a look at the results themselves. In race 1, the top 8 included all 4 Virtue cars and 3 of the 4 Napa Racing cars. The only one who wasn't a Ford or a Hyundai in the top 9 was Jake Hill. And I did say the BMW could run well, but it just didn't connect all together for a whole race. Chilton held off Ingram, and he staged a good, crossing the line together moment. Though in the post-race interview, after setting the lap record for Donington Park GP, Chilton admitted that he was meant to give the fastest lap to Ingram, but he wasn't going to give him the race win, because they had to make sure that they were going to get a 1-2 anyways. Sutton started behind Rowbottom for race 2, because then it meant that the tyre strategy was opened up, but it went south into the first corner, with Sutton pushed off by his own teammate into the gravel. Not to worry for Tom Ingram, he managed to get 4th in the end. Sutton managed to come back for 8th place, which was needed. But up front it was Kamesh versus Morgan, and one of the best runs that Adam Morgan's had in this season since he's gone back to front-wheel drive. It's also one of the best runs that Gordon Shedden's had. I mean, I know he is a race winner, he won at Alton, didn't he? But that was a good run for him as well, with Toyota this weekend splitting between the M Sport power unit and the Toka Swindon power unit. Didn't really have too much of an impact on their results when it comes to race 2 though, because you have 3 of them in the top 7. Then when we look at race 3, it was our title protagonist, and it was one of the best battles we've seen this season between our title protagonists. They were beating and banging, pushing and shoving, trying to get laps led, trying to get the bonus points here, there, and almost quite literally everywhere. I think the fastest lap went the way of Tom Ingram in the end, but so did the win. Nearly 9/10 of a second. Rowbottom was close behind, and then rounding out the top 5 were Taylor Smith and Jake Hill, which sets up one thriller as we look to the final couple of races of 2025. And it sets up a thriller because even though at this rate it won't be sealed at Silverstone, it might not go all the way down to the end of race 3 at Brands Indy, or Brands GP even, I do apologise. Because Ingram's on 377 points, Sutton's on 345. That mistake, not by Sutton, at the start of race 2, that could be decisive in the championship. Because we're talking probably the best part of a 12-point swing. And with 32 points separating them, every point counts at this point. Luckily, Silverstone's a drafting track. That Napa Racing UK outfit have been able to line up pretty well this year. So we might see some proper tandem running down the Wellington Straight. As for the manufacturers, it is now 1 point in Ford's favour over Hyundai. And in the teams, it is 2 points in the other direction. Virtue over Napa Racing UK. So, between Ford and Hyundai, in what is rumoured to be the last season for Alliance Racing with the Ford platform, at least one, probably two, if not all three of the championships could go down to the wire on the final race of the final day. It is mathematically just the two of them though. BMW are 160 points behind Ford and Hyundai in the manufacturers, and in the teams, LKQ Eurocar partnered with West Surrey Racing is nearly 300 points back. As for the independents, Mikey Doble is ahead of Dan Lloyd. It is 2 points in it between the two of them though. And that is testament to the efforts of the paddock to get Powermax Racing back out there with the loaned Cupras. In the independent teams, I forgot to mention Chris Smiley is only 3 points back from Doble. But in the independent teams, Restart Racing is pretty much set. They are in the standings, 92 points clear of Powermax Racing, who themselves are 18 points clear of Unlimited Motorsport. And to wrap up the Jack Sears, it was 1 point going into it. Rainford did have a good run, but De Leon had a better run over the course of the weekend. So De Leon is now leading by 14 points over Rainford. Sam Osborne is a further 31 points back. Either way, folks, those are my thoughts, feelings and observations from the BTCC's weekend at Donington Park. As always, I thank you so much for watching and joining, and until next time, it's bye-bye for now.